Like a lot of businesses are closing around in this area. And here I am going on 30 years later, and I'm still at it. I'm not really getting much bigger, but I'm keeping up.
It's Wednesday. It's time for another episode of the Skid Steer Nation podcast. Today, I have on Sheldon Gould. He's been in the trades for over 25 years, and he's still standing. He started S&N Custom Lawn Care back in 1998. Part-time, working other jobs, fixing his own equipment just to keep it going. Landscaping, tree removal, snow removal. The kind of work where breakdowns hurt, winners don't care, and growth is never guaranteed. He's built this business through loss, pressure, and years where quitting would have been easier, but not an option. If you've ever felt like progress is slow, the business side is heavy, and you're still showing up anyway, this conversation's going to hit. I'm Ryan Deemer. This is the Skid Steer Nation podcast. Before we jump in and introduce Sheldon, I want to speak to the contractors who feel this in their chest. You work your ass off. You do good work. Customers like you, but the business side still feels tight. Cash flow, unpredictable. Growth feels slow, and marketing is mostly post somewhere and hope. That is exactly why we created and started Throttled Up Marketing. We help contractors clean up their online presence so people understand what you do, trust you before they call, and choose you without you having to convince them. No influencer nonsense, no post 3 times a day garbage, just local visibility and clear messaging that fits how trades actually operate. If you've ever said, I know I'm good at this, I just need more of the right work, this is built for you. All right, Sheldon, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. I tell you what, 1998, man, we finally got a guy on here that almost started a business when I was getting out of high school.
Well, I was about 9 years old, and it's kind of funny because tomorrow's actually my birthday, and I'm going to be 38. So I started
happy birthday, man.
When I was 9, and I kind of got into it. My dad, we lived on a farm, and my dad kind of got me into mowing the lawn around our farmyard. And then my dad took sick with cancer and ended up passing away Christmas Day, 1999. So I kind of was one of these kids that got forced to grow up faster than normal. So I started moving around. We moved to a different town. I started working just kind of on the side, not really a business, just to, make some extra cash working for, the odd neighbor here and there. And I found out I kind of enjoyed it. So I ended up a few years down the road after that. Like, I have about 30 years of experience, and I started my own company 26 years ago. So after I figured out, wow, I can make some decent money doing this, I decided to start my own business, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's fantastic.
I started out mowing lawns just with a push mower, and then doing a little bit of snow removal with a shovel when I was 9, 10 years old.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize the age when you started your business, so I didn't associate that age with you losing your father. 10 years old losing your father is completely different than 25, 30 years old. So how did that loss of a male figure affect you? And like, you can be as deep or shallow as you want on that. I hate to put you on the spot, but
my dad being a farmer and being a farm kid, I spent most of my time out with him. If I wasn't at school, I was out riding around in a tractor. And I grew up in the same yard as my grandma and grandpa, and my dad had 2 brothers, and they all kind of farmed together. But once my dad passed away, we moved off the farm. So I kind of lost all my family figures that were male, because I moved with my mom and then my younger sister and my younger brother. So I kind of had to do everything on my own from there, because my uncles, we kind of moved away from them. So I didn't have them. My grandparents moved away from them. They were getting up in age. So I really didn't have much male influence from then on. I kind of learned everything on my own. And then I had a few people within the community that kind of helped me out, took them under my wing. But yeah, losing your father at a young age is, you got to learn to grow up, especially when you have no other male influence. You're learning it on your own.
And did I hear you say that all of your siblings are younger than you? So you're also the oldest sibling?
I've got a family of 3. I got a younger sister and a younger brother.
So not only are you 10 years old, but you're also being the one that's being looked up to by your siblings.
Yeah.
And expected to be the model for them. That's tough.
Yeah. And when I originally started the company 26 years ago, the name S&N stands for Sheldon and the N stands for Nelson. And Nelson was my youngest brother. And he started out originally helping me out. And we thought we were going to make a go of it. And then he decided, no, he wanted to go into heavy duty mechanics and kind of left the scene. And I don't have much to do with him anymore. But because my name got out there so much with S and N over the 26 years, I never changed it. I've always just kept it that. So that's why it's called S and N.
S and N, okay. Hey, on the bright note, at least it's got a family member in it, and it's not like
yeah. So that's how it came.
Very
up
nice.
With the name, so
that's wild, man. Yeah, that's a lot of weight to carry as a young kid. And then I'm assuming as you continue to grow, you get older, you get into your teenage years, you're getting out of high school, and you just kind of keep doubling down and reinvesting in your business. How does that look? You know, maybe not in 1999 or 2000, but like 2010. How did that look for you as you were maturing and learning more about owning and operating a business?
Well, I graduated in 2006, and I wasn't the brightest one in school. I'm good at hands-on stuff and good at running my company that way. It was a little tough learning the kind of behind the scenes of running a company, the financial, the legal stuff, the paperwork, which is a little frustrating at times. So I had to learn a lot of that. It's definitely been a learning curve. When I first started out, it was just, you go work for cash. But when I got out of high school, it was, I'm out of school. I got to do something with my life. Well, what do I do? Well, when I first got out of high school, it was a company, but I wasn't doing it full time. I was also started working as an automotive mechanic, and I also worked as a directional drilling on the oil. So that's where I gained my money to buy my equipment when I first started. And then one thing led to another, and the phone was ringing more and more, and it got to the point, I didn't have time for the other stuff, that this was becoming a full-time job. So I quit everything, and that's about 26 years ago. Or no, I graduated in 2006, which will be 20 years this year. I think I worked another 2 years after I was out of school, and then I went full-time doing my own lawn care and snow removal stuff. So it's been different. It's been interesting.
Yeah. How big is your company? How big is your company now? Like, do you have employees? Is it just you, or where do we sit?
Part-time employees. The town where I originally started it had a population of 3,500 people, which to me was fairly big for the area that I lived in. Then I got married, and me and my wife decided to move to another town. We did some research on the town. We figured that there was nobody else in the area doing this type of work, that I'd be the only one. Well, we move out to this new town, which only has about a population of about 880, 900 people. I get out here, I'm one of 2 people doing lawns. Then a lot of people start noticing what I've been doing, and since we've moved here, and we've been here, I think, 8 years now in this town, and it seems like every second person is starting a small company. So now I went from, being the only one in a town of 3,500. Now I'm in competition with about 10 other ones in a population of 800. So now I'm dealing with the competition of the business, which makes it tough too.
Yeah. What do they say? Imitation's the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
So they saw something they liked in what you were doing.
Yeah. Like, everybody thinks, it's easy money. Well, it's maybe easy when you first start, but then if you start with new equipment, you don't have the repairs, but eventually the equipment starts wearing out and you got to start dealing with the repairs. It's not easy money once you get going. There's a lot behind it, and as you get bigger, you're dealing with insurance and licensing and advertising and all the legal stuff. Like, the bills add up, and it's tough to make a business in a small town where I am. It's tough. and there's a lot of undercutting going on by smaller companies, and like you got to raise your prices, but to keep up with the demand, with all the tariffs and stuff that are going on here up in Canada, our prices keep going up and up. Well, you got to put your prices up, and then your customers are like, well, we can't afford that. So it's tough to figure out how to move prices up and down, and so that you're making money. Like it's been tough in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years. It's been tough dealing with the price of everything going up.
Yeah. I can see that, especially, we take that for granted a little bit in the United States. Like we see a little bit of incremental prices here and there, but we still have control over a lot of the stuff where, companies like Canada and that, I think, what do they say? I don't know where you're located in Canada. Was it Manitoba? I don't know why
I'm in
that's
Manitoba.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
About a half an hour from the border.
Okay.
So we do see a lot of stuff crossing back and forth. Well, it's getting tougher now with all the new regulations that rules that Trump's bringing out. But
yeah,
every day there's.
That's what I was going to say. But I think there's, if you're only a couple hours from the border, there's a high probability that you're receiving your energy from the United States. Then
possibly, yeah.
Yeah, and those are things we don't think about here, right? Like cost of oil and natural gas and
it makes it tough with the price of things going up, and now we're dealing with this war over in the east, and well, that's going to affect oil possibly too, and diesel fuel and everything else. Like, the next 6 months, we don't know how things are going to change.
Right. Have you been creative at all with either the offerings that you provide your clients, or the way you price it, or the way you value it, or have you just been trying to compete strictly on price?
I'm just trying to compete on price.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make money. You can't go too low or you're not making anything.
Right.
And it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard in those smaller towns like that because you don't have a large economic driver as the center hub.
Yeah, we're actually possibly looking at moving to a area where there's a bigger population. I'm only about an hour and a half away from a bigger city, and I'd like to move there, but with the cost of housing and trying to find a house that suits us. So like I got a family, 2 kids and the wife, so I got to find at least a 3 or 4 bedroom house, and then I got to find a shop or a large garage of some sort. Well, good luck trying to find a yard that has both in there. And if you're trying to buy a shop, well, prices of a shop by itself is the same price as a house. And like, it's hard to even move into a big area. But I know in the bigger areas, like the small towns, they want stuff done for, $25 here, $25 there. You go to a bigger center, you can charge $100, $200, and they don't even look at it twice. Like, there's more money to make where there's bigger population.
Have you ever thought about just sucking it up and like going and promoting yourself and trying to get some work in that area and like working 1 or 2 days a week just to validate it? Oh, you do?
Yeah, we do. We travel a long ways. Like, we're based out of like central southern Manitoba, but in order to get work, we're covering all of southern Manitoba.
Yeah.
So we cover a large area. We'll go anywhere from 2 hours one way to 2 hours the other way just to get work.
Wow. How difficult is that when you got to go do snow pushing because the roads are probably in bad shape? And
when it comes to snow, that's kind of hard because I'll only take on jobs within a small area. The main ones we take on are right in the town, and then we can usually get to the towns within, say, a half an hour here within the next day, as long as the highways are open and cleared. Snow-wise, I can't really go much further than about a half an hour out.
Right.
Which that's another thing. If I lived in a bigger population, you get a lot more for snow removal.
Bigger density of people.
We're all over the place.
Yeah. Do you do much commercial work, like commercial contracts? Fair amount.
Not so much in the small town that we're in now, because there's not a whole lot of commercial. But when I first started it, we used to look after all the sidewalks within the town. We looked after most of the businesses, sidewalks and parking lots. We had a lot. Out here, we got a few. A big one out here is we look after a lot of the cell phone towers. and all the switching, remote switching buildings out in the country. So we get called up to go out in the middle of a field and plow a snowbank that's 4 or 5 feet high that's never been touched all winter. So we do a lot for like utilities.
Okay.
The town here, we don't have much for sidewalks and stuff like that because the town does it all. But where we were, it used to be all privately looked after.
I'm just curious, Sheldon, like, have you ever looked at like your existing commercial clients, the utility clients, and have you ever said, hey, what else could they need from me, whether it be in a slightly different area or avenue? Like maybe they need some of those roads to the cell tower graded, or, you know, just expanding services to make those clients happy so they're more sticky for you?
I have looked into it. I haven't pushed it too much. There isn't a whole lot to do in this area. Like the cell towers, the municipality looks after the roads up to them, and then I do the access roads in and around. There's like I have a sweeper, so I could do sweeping of sidewalks for some of our commercial stuff or parking lots, which I haven't actually approached them because I have to come up with a deal on how I would charge them and do stuff like that. But there's other options there. I just haven't really gone after it yet.
Yeah. And I'm getting way off track here, but this is just sometimes where my mind goes, and just from things I've heard over the years and ideas I've wondered. But I've seen guys make a lot of money picking up, and they might, in some places you have to get licensed for it and get the hazmat and all that. I don't know what it's like in Manitoba, but like they basically get contracts with DOTs, cities, states, municipalities, and then they can go out there with like mitigation equipment and pressure wash, hot steam, oil slicks, gas spills, clean things up.
I wouldn't mind getting into that. Like I don't have the equipment, but I've often thought about getting into the pressure washing thing. I've seen videos on YouTube, guys who go around, washing gravestones at the cemetery, or even washing signs. They're going around washing all the highway signs and corner signs, stop signs, stuff like that, and like parking lot washing, stuff like that, or line painting. There's lots of options out there, which would be nice to do. It's just so costly to get set up to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd just be like, all right, which one makes the most sense? Which one could I upsell the most existing client so I'm not starting from scratch?
Yeah.
And even if I don't have let's take line painting, for example. Even if it's a slow, monotonous process and your profit margins are thin because of your efficiencies, and you've got to figure out like some marking, spacing, boards, painting, it's a proof of concept to make sure that investing in the equipment's the right decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like it could very easily be done.
Yeah.
It's just getting set up and organized to do it would be the biggest thing. And then getting out there and getting the jobs. Like I know there's not a lot in this area that does that. Like pressure washing, line painting, parking lot sweeping, stuff like that. And I'm already set up with a brush. Like I have 2 brushes. I could do the parking lot sweeping already.
Yeah, and it wouldn't take much to put a Hotsy or some sort of a pressure washer on a small trailer. Like that's probably the least expensive option. But to me, that just kind of separates you instead of being a guy that just can take care of one aspect in the summer and one aspect in the winter. You're kind of like my outdoor property maintenance company, not just
like
the lawn or snow.
We do a lot of stuff. Like we do mowing and edging and trimming, tree removal, tree trimming, hedge trimming, power sweeping, dethatching, aerating, snow removal, driveway repairs, land leveling. Like we do cover a lot of stuff.
Wait, how are you doing the driveway repairs and land leveling?
We using skid steers.
Okay. So you're substantially more diverse than a typical lawn care company. You've got some different equipment. You're set up more like a commercial lawn care company with your equipment and options.
Yeah, we're property maintenance. We kind of look after everything. I don't do a lot of hardscape work or cement work, but other than that, we do just about everything else.
I don't blame you. That shit's bad on your back.
It is. I have a
the hardscape back, guys are laughing and agreeing at the same time. Yeah, right. Oh
I've wrecked
man.
my arms over the years with using vibrating tools. That's why I got my
Yeah.
helpers. They do a lot of my labor type work, but I started out at the bottom too, so
Yeah.
that's how I
That's
got to where I am today. You got to
I
start
mean,
in the trenches.
I remember, and I always like to use this as an example, but in college, I got a job at a bar, and I was just a bar back carrying beer, cleaning toilets, and there's something about that lifestyle with the music and all the people. I just loved it. So I ended up buying my first bar at 25. It was like a live music venue. We could hold 500 people in it. And as we hired staff and the years went on, everyone's like, "Hey, I need you to go do this," and they'd look at me with that weird look, like I don't want to do that. And I'd always look at them and go, "There's not a single toilet in this fucking place that I haven't replaced, and not a single square inch of it I haven't swept up vomit. So I'm not asking you to do something that's never been done before."
Yeah, you've done it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask them to do something that you wouldn't do.
I just ask them to do things that I no longer choose to do.
Yeah. It's
like
funny you talk about bars and music and stuff. I actually own another business that I started 27 years ago. I actually own Sonic Slade Music Productions, which is a mobile DJ live sound and recording company.
Oh,
and
nice.
Back when I lived in my town that we lived in before we moved here, we were doing gigs 2-3 times a week. Then we moved here. And then I'd say about the last 5 years, when it comes to DJ and socials, that's kind of a thing of the past because of the Bluetooth speaker, and people just do their own stuff. But I used to be on the rodeo circuit, and I did all the sound for the rodeos around Manitoba. I was on a theater board. I did everything that came into our local theater. And then when we moved out here, well, there's not a whole lot going on in this town. So I kind of got out of it, but I still have all my equipment. I do demolition derbies every year. So that's kind of my main thing. But for 27 years, I did sound for socials and bands and events all over Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And I started that from scratch too. So that was kind of my main thing before I got into the lawn care. And then the lawn care kind of took over. And now that's kind of my side gig. So,
it's funny. And I don't know, I'm not going to word this properly, but I'm going to do my best. There is one lesson that I think about quite regularly that I learned from running sound for, I didn't personally run it. We had sound guys, but I learned a lot from them. But I can't tell you how many times, I'm like, the band just sounds off. Like there's something not right with the sound. And your first instinct, and I think anyone out there would understand this because of car radios, right, is either adjust the bass or adjust the treble.
Yeah, it's the band thinks they're good, but in the end, it's the sound guy that makes the band sound good by tweaking everything to the right position.
But what I found out is more times than not, if you play around with that middle knob, more of that flat middle range and leave the treble and the bass alone, you can really dial it in. And I think it's just a lesson for me, like whether it be in life and in business, like we don't have to have that big, thick, remembering deep bass. And we don't have to have that really high, bright treble. Like sometimes you just got to dial in the little things in the middle and it just smooths out everything else. Like it's just, for me, I think about that a lot when I'm in situations. I'm like, do I need to make a big statement? Do I need to pull back? Or do I just need to dial in the middle?
It doesn't take much.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people, turn the bass up. Well, it's not about the bass. If you set everything properly and adjust that middle, you can make it sound not electronic, but you make it sound real and pure.
Yeah.
And full.
But I think that applies in life and business too. And I bring that up just to mean like, you could say I want to go out and get 55 more commercial clients and all that. In reality, if you just spend a little bit of time on what you currently have, dialing in the value and the price, it could make a difference before you have to go throw that big piece of gas on the fire, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like buying equipment. You don't have to go out and buy 10 brand new pieces of equipment. You go out and buy one piece. That allows you to add, say, 5 more jobs within a week or whatever.
Yeah.
That eventually down the road will add up. And it's just the fine little adjustments that you make here and there. It's not saying you're doing a bad job of what you're doing. Sometimes you just got to tweak what you're doing. I
want to take a quick pause and tell you about Skid Steer Nation. Guys, if you've been listening to the show, you know Skid Steer Nation is designed specifically for contractors in mind. We source high-quality American attachments that are built rugged tough, designed to last, and give you an amazing ROI. Everything we sell is American-made, contractor-tested, and chosen because it holds up when conditions aren't perfect, whether it's cold, mud, snow, or just long hours. No shortcuts, no junk, nothing from China. No companies disappearing once the invoice is paid. If your machine's how you make your living, your attachments shouldn't be the gamble. Go visit skidsteernation.com for your next skid steer attachment. Now let's get back to the interview. So Sheldon, I want to abrupt switch of topic. So I just want to give the listeners a quick update. You talked about living in the old town, business was able to grow. I mean, it wasn't even a huge town, but it was enough of a town to support you and your business and what you're doing. Moved to the smaller town. It's been a little bit more of a struggle. I think you kind of mentioned that there's been times that you kind of feel like you're banging your head on your wall, wonder why you're doing it. I know you've been doing it for a very long time. What drives you to keep doing this every day instead of saying, screw it, I'm going to go do something else?
Because every job that I've ever done, the customer always comes back to me and says how good of a job I do. And I've talked to other people, friends and family about quitting. Some of my family is against me. That they just think I'm nuts for starting my company. But a lot of people are, oh, you're so good at it, you can't quit. And I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy being my own boss, even though being a boss of a business, you're dealing with so much other stuff than, just showing up to work and being told what to do. You go do it and go home at the end of the day. But I enjoy the challenge, I guess. And I enjoy it because I like being out there. I like seeing what I can do. Even though I'm so picky, in my mind, I never do a job 100% of the way I'd like it. But the best thing is, when the customer comes and says, well, you went over the top. Like I did snow removal here the other day for a guy. And he came out and he says, geez, he says, you almost did too good of a job. It's nice to, when you got the public out there starting to notice and telling you that you do a good job. And that's what keeps me going, because I know. And when you have a good day and you're busy, you can make money. Not every day is a steady pay, but you're making fairly decent money. Some days you don't work, some days you work 10-hour days, other days you work 2-hour days. But it's just knowing you're making a difference and people appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing it.
I'll tell you what, you've got the hard part figured out. Mm-hmm. You know why you're doing your business. And to a lot of business owners, it's the money, and that's not the why.
No, to me, you make money, and I'm not about making it rich. I just want to be able to get my equipment looked after and pay my bills and make a little on it so that I can live. but I'm not out there to be a millionaire. Yeah. I just enjoy what I do.
Yeah. And I think that's a big important thing to understand too. Like, it's so easy in today's world with social media and the internet and television ads to always be comparing yourself to somebody else.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm not out there to be the biggest and the best in town.
Well, I would argue with you. You're out there to be the best. That's not the biggest.
Well, the best, yeah. But I don't need a whole pile of fancy machines. As long as I have equipment that runs right and makes a decent job and does the job properly, that's all that matters.
Well, I don't know about you, but I find even with the excavation equipment and anything today, nothing beats the quality of some of those older pieces of equipment. Well, and if you maintain them right, they work way better.
Things break way too easy nowadays. And then you get into the computer stuff, you can't even fix your own equipment. Even your truck, it has to go to a dealer. You can't even change brakes on the new vehicles because apparently they have to be reset by an actual computer tech at the dealership. Like, it's getting ridiculous.
It is. And then it's getting ridiculous in my point of view, because I can't tell you how many times you look at something, whether it's in your truck, your equipment, or whatever else, and you're like, why in the hell is that made out of plastic?
Well, yeah. I don't even commercial stuff. made of plastic. Like the hoods on the new John Deere tractors are all plastic. Unless you go to like an actual, like maybe I haven't really looked at the compact sizes, but like the commercial mowers, like it's all plastic. Commercial should mean made of steel or at least a tin hood.
I mean, I had at the house we just moved out of a year ago, we had a small little cocktail bar off one of the living rooms. The house was built in the 60s. Really neat, definitely outdated. But the refrigerator in that bar was the original fridge, and the house was built in 1962.
Yep, still running.
Everyone's like, that thing, like you should update that and get like a stainless steel one. I'm like, hell no, man, that thing will run when I'm dead. Like you keep the dust off the fins and just watch her eat, man. Like she would freeze up the freezer. It was like they just don't make it like that anymore.
No, well, there's no point in fixing it if it isn't broke.
No, not at all. But I just kept looking at like, why to put in a subpar product that works half as good? Like, no,
break 2 years down the road. Yeah. Well, so much stuff's that way, and in the industry, like everything's made to fall apart, and you can't keep up with the repairs.
Could you imagine if they made toys like they did in the 1930s and everything was like cast iron and steel? Like,
I wish.
you know how many lawsuits there'd be because one kid shucked a 14-inch fire engine at another kid's head. And
it's funny you say that because I did that when I was little. I threw a heavy cast iron tractor at my cousin's head.
Yeah. See, boys are boys, kids are kids. Doesn't matter boys are boys, kids are kids.
Broken 2 hours later.
Yeah, doesn't matter the decade.
Nope.
Oh man, that's funny.
Things have sure changed.
Yeah. I mean, 20 some years in business, you talk about how much the customers really appreciate your attention to detail and how they feel like you go above and beyond. That's actually led to some accolades for you. Like what awards have you won for your business over the years?
2 years ago and the year before that, we actually won for both of my businesses. I won the Canadian National Choice Awards. And then this year, I won I can't remember which categories, but under, I think, 4 or 5 different categories under Community Votes Award. And then I also I was nominated this year. I didn't win it, but I was a nominee for the RBC Bank Small Business Award.
Awesome, man.
And my wife actually owns a business. She does custom silk flowers and small gifts. And she actually won last year and then just won here in the last week. She won a National Canadian Choice Award for her business too.
You're going to have to help me out just a little bit, Sheldon. What is a National Canadian Choice Award?
It is a business award for small business across Canada.
Okay.
And you're competing with millions of different businesses. It's not like an actual award where they pick, say, just 10 of the best businesses out of like all of Canada. They recognize the top businesses within the smaller towns within Canada.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you and I have something in common because Skid Steer Nation actually won Small Business of the Year from the Bradley University Small Business Development Center back when it started. So
congrats.
Startup of the Year is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool just to know that like your hard work's being seen. And I think every town has those community choice vote awards and all that. And in my opinion, of all the awards you could win, those to me have the most meaning because actual people in your community took time to vote for you.
And then also, you're not advertising to people that you'd have nothing to do with halfway across the country. It's advertising to your community where you provide those services. So you're liable to get more work out of that within your community than you would, say, somebody phones you up halfway across the country.
100%. And then if you bring it up in conversation or throw that little award logo on a business card or a flyer, I mean, it's recognizable because it's the community's award.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
the small business awards, I think, get you further than these great big national awards that pick you out of an entire country.
it's and I don't want to transition too hard into this, but I feel like that's a great point to make up. Like everyone looking at marketing or social media, I'd rather have 100 views on a video of 100 people that are really interested in what I'm trying to offer and do and engage with me than 10,000 views spread out across people that are just like, oh, that was cool. Like sometimes that laser focus on the audience, like we get so engaged and caught up in the numbers.
Oh,
And it takes a very small amount of people to make good money.
Like I advertise a lot online through Facebook, and like we're on LinkedIn and X and YouTube and Facebook, and I can't even remember what else, Instagram. I maybe have 200 or 300 followers, and most of these followers follow everything I post, which to me is fine. I don't need these million of followers because all the ones that are following me are the local ones that live within the areas that I service. And a lot of them do come to me and they're like, quit advertising so much, or you put too many pictures up. But to me, if they're complaining about it, they're seeing it. So if they're looking for that service, it's going to stick in their head. And they're going to think, oh, well, he does that. Yeah, maybe annoying with my advertising when it comes to a small town, but if you don't advertise, people aren't going to know you do it.
Right. And let me just be, this is where my head went instantly. You're like, oh, you have 200 followers. If those are all in your local community around you and you live in a town of 900 people, like you've got a 20% saturation rate, which is nuts.
Yeah. Well, just on my personal Facebook page, I have over 3,000 friends. Yeah. And I live within an RM. The entire RM probably has that many. So I'm hitting, at least 75% of the people here. And that's just one person. Those people spread the word. That word is getting out there and covering a large area within a small area.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Which social media platform works best for you?
I think Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah. I used to make a fair amount of videos on YouTube of me working, but then it kind of got to the point like nobody wants to watch somebody mow the grass 100 different times within a different, 100 different yards. It's the same thing. But I used to make my actual videos and narrate them and everything. And I'd make, 45-minute to an hour long videos. Now it's to the point I put a few videos up here and there, and it's mostly random stuff in my life, a little bit of work, a little bit of, the family, Christmas, stuff like that. And that's maybe 2 or 3 minute videos. But I'm still putting stuff up and people are seeing it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to making the actual full videos, I don't do it as much. So it's mostly just posts and pictures on Facebook.
Gotcha. I think every business, this is my opinion, I think every business should have a YouTube channel, and you don't even have to commit to posting a bunch of videos. And I think you just need to have one showcase video, like pay an editor, pay a photographer, pay a video, whatever you got to do.
Well, that's what I would like to do because it's hard to do it on your own. You're trying to do the work, trying to hold a cell phone, make a decent video, try and narrate it. If I had somebody, say they had drones, it'd be cool to get some shots of me working from a drone shot.
But you
put
get
a video
some
together and make it worthwhile. If you made 2 or 3 of those videos that showcases everything you do, that's all you need.
Yeah, you get the customer testimonials blended in there. You get the workflow blended in there, the before and the afters, like your equipment, your crew, whatever it is. Kind of find a way to get your values in there. But if you just invest a little bit of time into one video, you could literally for 5 years, you could share that every time you meet a new customer. Like, hey, this is who we are as a company. If you get 10 minutes, go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it can sell for you.
Yeah. See, I need I don't really need a marketing team, but it'd be nice to have somebody to help me out. I do a lot of this on my own. My wife helps me out here and there, but I'm the boss. I'm the one out there doing the work. I'm doing all the book work.
And then
I'm
you
doing
come
all
home
the
and you're tired.
advertising. And it'd be nice to have more of the advertising and the like making videos. It'd be nice to have somebody that could just, come out while I'm working, take a few pictures, take some videos, and then put trust in them to put something fantastic together so that I could do that. But it's so hard to do it when I'm doing every department all on my own.
Well, I understand that, but you don't need somebody to follow you every day. You just need somebody to come one day a month, right? If you got one day a month, you get enough content between shorts and long, like,
yeah.
Get one of your kids to follow you around and teach them a couple things on how to hold a camera. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a production. It just needs to be something.
It's just nice to have that second pair of hands to get a different
100%. Yeah. We were talking about this on the last interview too, and I brought it up and he already owned them, but I'm seeing a lot of guys invest some, it's $400 or $500 into those Meta glasses that can record from the glasses, and it's in 4K and HD. It only does 5-minute clips at a time, but now you've got a camera and you have both hands.
So I thought about the head mounted GoPros.
Yeah. Not a good alternative. Yeah.
I tried to get some neat looking videos like plowing snow and stuff, but to try and get a cell phone to sit in a proper position in a skid steer is kind of hard.
I know. I think and honestly, I don't know, like wintertime might be tough unless you have the right equipment, but summertime, I've seen more guys get work last year with time lapse videos because I think it checks the box for quick. Like someone doesn't have to watch 4 minutes of you going.
See, I thought about doing that too, and then trying to do that on a phone. Well, you don't have the memory on your phone. You need an actual camera, and then an actual editing program, which I don't have. I do everything on a cell phone.
Yeah, you might want to try it on your phone though, because if on Apple phones, you can actually slide it over to time lapse, and it'll record it all. And then when you hit play, it's just like it compresses it into It just takes a picture every so often seconds.
Yeah.
And it stitches them together. But honestly, I think a 1 minute time lapse video of you doing an entire front yard would have more bang for its buck.
Yeah.
Than a 15-minute video of them watching you do everything.
Oh yeah. No, I agree there.
I mean, like lawn care to me is that industry where you got to have that holy shit wow factor.
Yeah.
And like those guys on YouTube that go knock on doors and say, hey, I just want to do your yard. And they got to fight with the lady to even do it. And they're not even charging them. Right.
Well, yeah.
But it's the nastiest, most overgrown yard. And, and sometimes have you ever thought about like finding one of those properties and being like, hey,
I have. Yeah.
For the town, I'm going to do it. And then just videotape it. And
there's not a whole lot around here for yards like that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind doing that, do a time lapse of a yard cleanup. It shows
abandoned city abandoned city properties, old warehouse buildings, something. Just anything that people drive by and go, God, that looks terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a guy that
find a place and then get them to agree to do it.
There was a guy that went, I can't remember who I was talking with, but he went to the city council hall and said, hey, you got that lot across the street from the post office. It's been empty for years. Like everything's overgrown. The bushes are out of control. I don't want a penny. I'm just tired of looking at it. Can I use my equipment and clean that lot up? And they're like, absolutely. He said for 6 months, people would stop him. He's like, hey, I heard you were the one that cleaned that lot up. That looks so much better. Thank you so much. And sometimes, and the point of that is like sometimes doing things without wanting recognition gets you even more recognition because people will ask him like, who did it? Who did it? Who did it?
Like that's the other thing about moving to this town. This town's kind of a cliquey town. Unless you're from this town, you're not really welcome here. And I've tried with both of my businesses and just volunteering to help out and stuff. I get turned down to volunteer, even to do stuff for free.
we have a town in our
a whole lot of it.
Yeah, we have a town in our area that it used to be that way. I think too many people have moved there for it to continue to be that way. But you could live there for 15 years and you were still an outsider.
Yeah, well, we've been here 8 years, and it's like that, which makes it tough to get jobs too.
Yeah,
because you're not known to town, even though we've been here for 8 years.
8 years. Yeah,
The other
that's
thing
funny.
is, like, with us traveling around so much, we do more work out of town than we do in town.
I think that's common, especially in a small community like that. Like I have no idea what the numbers would be, right? But how many people out of 100 actually pay to have their lawn mowed?
Not too many.
I was thinking it's got to be a smaller percentage. So you can probably take that 900 household and condense that down to 100, 200, 150 of potential clients, because everyone else in the town's like, I got a nephew, or I do it myself, or.
And then you got the competition in town. Say there's about 10 of us doing snow.
Yep.
So you can split that. You're lucky if you get 5 to 8 customers per contractor.
Yeah. I want to ask you real quick, we talked about you being in the weeds, having those days where you wonder if it's worth continuing, having your why, which is the customer satisfaction. Like, looking at your past, how does that make you visualize your future? Like, what does success look like to you now? Moving forward,
not to give up, because when I started, everybody thought I was nuts and wouldn't last a couple of months. Well, here I am going on, soon be 30 years of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just, you learn that you're never going to have, you have good days and you have bad days, but you can't give up. And then I've grown from, using a push mower to a shovel to where I am today. I don't have everything. I don't have a ton of equipment, but I've seen that with hard work, you can get places. And I have customers, and every year I'm adding new customers. I've lost a pile of customers due to old age, and they've all passed away. So now I'm gaining new customers all the time. It's not like I'm gaining hundreds at a time, but 1 or 2 a year, well, that's more customers, more people finding out.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, you can't give up, even though a lot of people don't think you're going to make it.
I'm going to throw a caveat in there. Like, you can't give up if you have a plan.
Yeah. Like, I have a plan. I see what I want in the future. It's probably just a dream, but you'll never know if you ever get there unless you keep trying.
Have you written out the dream and then reverse engineered where you need to be at different steps of the path to achieve it?
Kind of, yeah.
Then it's a goal. It's not a dream. A dream is not written down. A goal has steps that are modifiable along the way.
Like, I would love to have, multiple different units, have a fleet, have multiple guys working for me. Wow, when I worked in the other town, I had up to 6 people working for me, so I know it's possible to grow. The problem is, being in this small town makes it hard to grow.
Yeah.
But I know the work is there and that I can slowly grow. It just takes time. And that's my goal down the road. Like, I don't want to have a fancy house or anything like that, but a nice shop and decent amount of equipment and employees, and, to be able to open maybe different, like, not so much a store, but have different locations where I could have crews working out of. And that's my goal.
Yeah.
Instead of having to travel all over the country, you have offices set up in some of the bigger areas that can cover that area.
Couldn't you try that now?
I've tried.
Okay.
It's hard to do just because everything costs so much and I don't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Like, for the last 2 years, I've been looking for a shop in another community because I've had some of my friends that want to, not so much friends, but acquaintances that would be willing to, run my equipment, but out of a different location. But to find a decent shop, they're wanting a fortune. You either buy it or you rent it. Even rent for a decent sized shop is ridiculous. Unless I know I'm going to have the guaranteed work in that area to pay the rent, it might be okay, say 3 or 4 years down the road when you've established within that community. But when you're first starting out in a community, there's no guarantee you're going to make the money to make sure that you're going to cover your costs. And that's the biggest thing that's holding me back. Like, yeah, I could probably go out and buy a shop, or not buy a shop, but rent a shop. But 2 months down the road, am I still going to be able to afford it?
Right.
And that's what I don't want to do. I'm scared of failure, I guess.
Well, we all are.
And that's my problem. I'm kind of stuck in a rut. I'm where I am. I know I'm safe where I am, but I know I need to grow. A lot of people say you need to take risks, but I'm worried about failing.
Well, you need to take calculated risks.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I was you and you had a guy in a certain area and that you say, hey, this is the area we're going to look for to expand into. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get some yard signs made up. I'm going to make some flyers. I'm going to go make some door hangers. I'm going to start walking some streets. I'm going to make the drive once a week, spend a day over there, yard signs, hang up flyers, gas stations, diners, knock on some doors, get 20 people, 50 people, whatever the number is, signed up on an interest, or I would love to have that service come this summer. And I would have that all pre-sold or pre-contracted.
Yeah, that's what I need to do is go out.
And then you could rent the shop. So now it's a calculated risk, right? Yeah, you might lose 20%, but you still got 40. Now you got a guy in the area.
You need to go in and do your research first and see if you can advertise within that area and pick up a few jobs before you can move there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we did last year. We've reached out to a bigger city center and we're slowly picking up work there.
Mm-hmm.
We've picked, last year we had 5 or 6 out there. Maybe this year we'll have up to 10. And once we get a few more, then if it takes off, well, then we will be able to expand.
And what do you need for a shop? Like, do you need a place you can wrench on equipment, or are you going to be bringing that back to your location? Is it just to keep it stored out of the weather?
Big enough that you could work on stuff there and store equipment. Like, I don't have a lot of equipment right now. I'm running out of a 30 by 30 heated oversized double car garage and a couple of small storage buildings where I can put, off-season equipment.
Yeah.
So if I had a shop, say 40 by 40, that'd be big enough. Like, I don't need a great big, where you could park semis or whatever. And then I need an area where I can, park a couple of trucks and a couple of trailers outside. So I don't need anything fancy.
Again, getting creative. Like, this is where my mind goes, and it's just offering ideas and suggestions. But there's a lot of business owners that do not utilize all of their shop. They don't want to rent it out, and they think like renting it means they give up control of it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, can I just use this space and you got a little divider there and I'll pay you this much cash, or it's not a contract, like you're like, I'll help you, you help me type range. It's a great way to get started.
Yeah.
You just got to go knock on some doors.
For that, there's not much you can find in this area. Biggest thing is trust. They're wanting to, either sell it or rent it out.
Yeah.
You can't find anybody that really wants to share a corner. Like, I don't know. I guess you're in the same shop, they don't want other people in there. That's how stuff gets stolen and goes missing, which is understandable.
Yep. I get it.
And
I get it.
It's tough. I've been looking.
Yeah. Hey, before we wrap up, I got a neat little story I want to share with you. I want to give a shout out to my nephew, Max Larson. He's 13 years old. It snowed about a month ago, and he just grabbed his shovel and started knocking on doors. And by the end of the day, he made like $360 with a shovel and just a little grit and will, man. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's how you start.
And after he did that, he was telling me all about it. He was all excited, and he's like, I think I'm going to start a business. So we sat down and we built out, and then I had my creative team make these really cool door hangers. One side is him holding the snow shovel, talking about a snow service. The other side's him pushing a lawnmower, talking about lawn services. I printed up like 500 of these damn things for him, spent like $200 on printing services, had them delivered. It just snowed this weekend, and he was calling people that he had shoveled before a month ago. We don't get a ton of snow like where we're at in Illinois.
Yeah.
And he went and hung up like 50 of those hangers, and he had like 3 or 4 people call him from just those hangers. And the kid made another $220 yesterday on a 2.5-inch snowfall. That was paper. It was so cold. It was like wafer thin snow. But shout out to Max, man. 13 years old, hustled one day, decided, hell, I can hustle more days.
Yeah.
Now he's and he struggles in school. So this is a good thing to get him focused, to learn money, to learn consistency, learn, peeper process. So I'm awful damn proud of him. And I just want to give a shout
awesome.
out there.
There's actually a couple of kids in town that kind of follow me around. They look up to me, and I've noticed they've been out shoveling driveways here and there. They're not competition to me. They're just out there trying to make some extra cash. So that's awesome to see the young kids.
Yeah, especially in an era where sitting there on the video games is acceptable.
Well, so. Yeah, get outside and do some work. Won't hurt
it's
you.
It's an exciting time for the younger generation because I think they're going to have an enormous amount of options of what they want to do.
I think the competition, the way the world's going, it's going to be interesting to see what the next two generations are like.
Yeah, the competition to be a plumber, electrician, a framer, it's going to be smaller than ever, I think, in the coming decade.
Well, they're talking within the next 10 years. I think it was Elon Musk put a post up the other day, something about within 10 years, most jobs are going to be done by a robot.
So I did some digging into that, and, yes, he's talking about your value. It's not about replacing humans. It's about shifting the value and the paradigm. And I really don't read headlines out there. Like, go read a little bit about his mindset and philosophy on it, because he sees it as a net positive for humans, not a net negative.
Yeah. Until something goes haywire and they go all wonky and.
Well, AI,
that's the scary thing.
Yeah, it can be. It still needs oversight, though. You're going to see people make a lot of money that learn how to engineer and prompt and like utilize AI in a positive way, because it still needs guardrails. It still needs human attention. And until it can figure out how to self-power itself, we're fine.
Yeah. No, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Nothing to worry about for a while. Hopefully not in my lifetime, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Yeah. Well, Sheldon, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking some time out, jumping on the call today, sharing your story, being open and honest with us.
Hey, not a problem.
You're a great example that, every day is not perfect. Every year is not banger, but.
Well, I'm not big and famous. I'm just at the bottom of the totem pole, but you got to start somewhere. And if you want your dream to come true, you can't give up. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, and there's something to be said about longevity, right?
Yeah.
So like people could listen to this and be like, oh, why isn't he growing? He's stuck where he's done it for over 20 some years, guys. Like there's a lot of lessons in that. And it's not just grit and suck it up and go do it, but it's, the care for the customers, expanding into some different ideas. And yeah.
Like a lot of businesses are closing around in this area have only been at it, 2 to 5 years. And here I am going on 30 years later, and I'm still at it. I'm not really getting much bigger, but I'm keeping up.
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather, who's considered one of the greatest boxers pound for pound in the flyweight category, I don't think he had very many knockouts. And if he did, they were never in the very first few rounds. He just grinded him out, outlasted all of his opponents,
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If you can stick it out, the other guys are liable to fall out of the whole thing before you, and as long as you're still going, you might come out the winner in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate your time coming on today. Great conversation. Enjoyed every minute of it, and thank you so much. Hey everyone, before you turn this episode off, I want to talk about one of the truths contractors are afraid to say out loud. Loving the business doesn't mean the business part is easy. And struggling with growth does not mean you're doing something wrong. Most guys just never get shown how to position themselves clearly, locally, and consistently. That's what Throttled Up Marketing fixes. We help contractors stop relying on luck or word of mouth, Facebook posts, and start building something a little bit more steady. If you're still showing up every day and believe this business is worth building, we're built for people just like you. Click the link in the show notes, schedule a call, or visit us at www.getthrottledup.com. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode, and we will see you next week.